What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for Sports. Alright, so I want to give a shout out to Dreamers Pro for putting this video out there. I think he just uploaded this video maybe an hour, 90 minutes ago. It wasn't too long ago. So shout out to Dreamers Pro. Please subscribe to his channel, man. Great channel. But anyway, on his channel, he was talking about some recent comments that Dwight Howard made in regards to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and LeBron James. And he was saying that he believes that it was much harder for Kareem to get to 38,000 and become the all-time leading scorer than it was for LeBron James. And he gave his explanations. And I agree with everything he's saying. I agree with everything he's saying because the conventional wisdom that a lot of people have is, well, because Kareem is closer to the basket, it should be easier. And then Dwight Howard gives you his perspective as to why that's an erroneous take. So listen to this, and then I'll have my thoughts after this.
I think it's 1A and 1B with Kareem and Jordan.
Kareem and Jordan,
And then LeBron right there.
and then LeBron right
And
there.
Kobe.
Then Kobe.
Kobe, you put LeBron before Kobe.
It's like, they like 2 and 3. Well, 3 and 4, I'm sorry.
Right. Leave it in the comments. I know y'all about to
y'all about to wild
leave
out.
it in the comments.
They gonna wild out. They gonna say LeBron. Everybody say LeBron.
They gonna say Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
They gonna say Kobe.
You got something that's gonna say LeBron though.
Yeah, I mean facts, but
It's a lot.
I
But
saw a lot
they
of
don't never put big man. Why is no big man ever put in these
because
categories?
y'all are closer to the rim, man.
That makes it
too
harder.
easy for
It makes it harder.
It doesn't look like that.
What do you mean?
How does it make it harder?
Okay, so for Kareem to score how many points? 38,000, something like that, without threes. You don't think that's harder?
Yeah, that's definitely.
He scored the same amount of points LeBron did in less time with no threes and in a different era. You don't think that's harder?
I agree with that.
Even though the basket's right there, it's harder to get to the rim because you're playing against people that's big too. What do you like? And they blocking off the paint. It's not just that easy.
Right.
So I feel like it would be harder to score in the paint than you shooting jump shots and stuff like that because the guy can give you space. But in the paint, it's no space. You got to
Physical
create
contact.
space, and you always fighting for position. You fighting to do everything. You got to jump in the paint.
Right. But there's probably one other person on the court that can actually block you.
That's not true.
Because they
It's not
beating
true.
you up the moment you come to the hole, pause, they beating you up.
That's a pause.
Yeah, that's a pause.
What you say after that? Pause that
Double pause, but yeah.
Gat, you deserve
Hold on.
Right.
Pause, I'm gonna pause this. Once you're a big man, pause. You're going to the hole, you're gonna get beat up every time.
Correct.
That's why you gotta know those fights. Because you was getting beat up every time you went to the hole.
Yeah, and then they tell us y'all are strong, so y'all could take the punishment of people hitting y'all and stuff like that. So it might be a little different.
Right.
When the guards go to the hole.
Now, I just cut it short because it started talking about how, from Dwight Howard's perspective, it's harder to draw fouls playing as a big man than as a perimeter player, which I think is pretty true with today's NBA. That wasn't the case some years ago, but it's definitely harder today. And earlier in that audio, you probably heard him rank Kobe behind LeBron, which actually has drawn more headlines than what he said about Kareem having a harder time scoring to get his record than LeBron, which I can't find any articles talking about that. and people still think that there's no such thing as a La Media. You see, they'll quote Dwight Howard when Howard fits their agenda, but when he says something that's benefiting someone else at the expense of LeBron, can't find any articles. So shout out to Dreamers Pro for finding this clip. In addition to what Dwight Howard is saying, another thing that I would add is, in today's basketball, in the basketball period, the perimeter player always has the ball at his disposal. He always has the basketball, whether it's a high-scoring point guard or a high-scoring shooting guard. For the most part, he has the ball in his hands almost throughout the entirety of the game. So he can pad his scoring totals as well as shoot threes, which, of course, makes it easier to build up big point totals. I mean, we had, didn't we have 2 guys score 70 points this year? I mean, when the last time we had that happen? 2 players dropping 70 in the same season. You know what I mean? But for a center, he has to get the ball for the most part. Now, there are exceptions. You have Giannis running the offense and things of that nature. But traditionally, especially when Kareem played, the center had to get the ball. So he had to wait to get in position to get the basketball, whereas a perimeter player has the ball at all times and can score seemingly at will. Not to mention, in LeBron's era, for especially the second part of his career, especially, it's so easy to score. How many times do we see LeBron out there and he's not guarding anybody? Especially since he's become a Laker. He's not guarding anybody. So you have all this energy to expel at your disposal from an offensive standpoint. Whereas with Kareem, while he did have people that helped ease his burden as far as rebounding as his career progressed with the Lakers, he still had to guard people. And he was never this big guy, Kareem. He was never this big guy. He couldn't overpower people like a Shaq or a Wilt, or even LeBron. He couldn't overpower people. He had to use his skill and finesse. So yes, when you consider that LeBron has made well over 2,000 three-pointers, which means that he scored well over 6,000 points from threes, which if you took those away, he goes down to 32,000 career points. And that's with the benefit of having started his career at age 18. Imagine if Kareem started his career at age 18 and got to play until he was 42. He'd have a 4-year head start. He would have had, even at age 18, man, you got to give him, with his durability, even at age 18, man, what is he scoring? Like 23 points a game? 22 points a game even at age 18? As a rookie? So if you give him 4 additional seasons, let's just give him a 25 point per game scoring average for 4 years. I mean, what is that? An additional 9,000 points? So what are we talking about here? 47,000 points? So, yeah, I think what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did was a lot more impressive. And let's look at another factor. At the small forward position, who did LeBron have to contend with for the most part in his career? I guess Paul Pierce, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, I mean, you could say Sean Murray, and but he's a lesser player. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't some really good small forwards, but you have to think. You know what I mean? You got to really think about that position. Do you want to include Trace McGrady as a small forward, or do you think of him as a shooting guard? I think of him as a shooting guard. So you get my point here. Like, at that position, exactly how much competition did he have? Whereas compared, when you look at Kareem, I mean, he starts off having to contend with Wilt Chamberlain, Walt Bellamy, Zelmo Beatty, Willis Reed, Bob Lanier, Wes Unseld, Elvin Hayes playing the center position. He was with the Rockets. They only got Moses Malone, Jack Sikma. I'm just trying to scan through my mind, man. So many different centers. Artis Gilmore. Later on, Patrick Ewing, Akeem Olajuwon. Very end of his career. Was he there then? Well, no, I think he was gone by the time Dave Robinson got there. But Robert Parrish, Joe Barry Carroll. Ralph Sampson was a power forward, but I'm just going to include him anyway. Ralph Sampson. He had to contend with the most competitive era of centers the game has ever seen. And I'm naming the stars, or players that at least had years as all-stars. And some of them I'm not remembering off the top of my head, but they're there and I just can't think of them. Mark Eaton's another one. Manute Bowles another one. Come on, it's just absurd. He had to compete against all of that talent to do what he did. It was harder. No 3-point line. Physicality of the position in general. Having to play that position for so long. Being that durable. And also, by the time that he was with the Lakers, he didn't have the green light to shoot the ball 20, 25 times a night. They were moving away from him. Other guys were starting to score more. Whether it's Jamal Wilkes or whether it's Magic taking on more scoring duties eventually, or you had Bob McAdoo come to bench, Byron Scott, James Worthy ultimately becoming their leading scorer during the playoff runs in the late 80s. LeBron is still reluctant, selfishly, to cede what might be best for the team, scoring opportunities for other people. I'm going to be honest with you. To me personally, I think the last 2 years, LeBron has played the most selfish basketball I have ever seen. Because part of what hurt the team was his selfishness. I showed you that startling stat that during the 2021-22 season, 91.5% of his points came when the Lakers were down by 15 or more points. And I know that doesn't sound right, but that just goes to show you, A, how many times the Lakers were down by big digits, and how many times he was in games where he was scoring and he was actually hurting the team. But they all blamed it on Russell Westbrook. Now last year, I think he got a little bit better with that. But at the end of the day, we still saw how when he's dominating the basketball, when he's shooting 22, 23 shots a night, 24 shots a night, he hurts the team. When did they get better? When in the second half, the team around him did get better after the Russell Westbrook trade, but they also started going more and more to Anthony Davis and others. And LeBron began scoring less, distributing more, which is more his natural game, and they started winning, along with the free throw shenanigans. But anyway, that's all I got to say on this one. Tell me what you guys think.